Welcome back, everybody, to the Insightful Podcast. We gain insight in order to move forward in life. Today's topic will be about reprogramming your inner voice and how to stop being your own worst critic. So, you guys know how I like to do these episodes. It is 5 points. I go through all five and then we call it a day. This is how the solo episodes will be looking for the next little while. So, without further ado, let's get into this. So, the first point is recognizing the negative loop. How most self talk is shaped by past experiences, childhood influences, and societal expectations. Identifying the patterns is the first step to breaking free. And I want to go over the last one, societal expectations. When you are trying to do something great and when you are trying to accomplish something that maybe the people around you haven't accomplished, they will always water it down. They will always tell you that it's impossible or that it can't be done or that you, especially you, aren't the person that can do it. So you need to recognize when people say these things because you may tell yourself it doesn't bother you, but if you hear them constantly, you will see that eventually you will start to believe them if you are unaware of their effect. So you need to realize when people are saying things that are kind of watering you down and kind of shaping your mind to have a perspective of you're not good enough, because if you're able to be aware of those things, you won't allow them to bother you because it won't just be in the background of your head because you'll be aware, okay, they said that, they're clearly trying to put me down, but I'm not going to let that happen, right? The next thing is childhood influences, right? That kind of goes to the same thing of the societal expectations, is just how other people view it. And for the last one, past experiences. Past experiences is exactly what validates what you can currently do if you allow it to be. If you're someone that made a lot of mistakes in your earlier life, or you're someone that feels like no matter what you tried in the past, things never worked out. If you start to believe that and you're unable to see past those experiences, it'll be very difficult for you to reprogram your inner voice because you'll always refer back to those. But you need to realize that you're not that person anymore, that you are someone new, someone who can achieve great things if they put the work in. If you're able to hold that perspective, you will see that you will be able to become the best version of you. The next point, the power of reframing. How to catch negative thoughts in real time and replace them with constructive, empowering beliefs. Instead of I'm not good enough, shift to I'm improving every day. This is one of the best things you could do, is just reframing your mind. Whatever thing you're going through, if you're able to look at it in a positive perspective, you will see that anything that seems hard will not be as hard as you made it out to be. The best thing, the best kind of perspective I've hold all the time, and it has helped me so much over the past year, is just changing my mindset from when I'm doing something difficult that seems like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. I always say that God is testing me. When I repeat this to myself in my mind, I know that it is a test that I must pass. And through my efforts, through my hard work, through my persistence, that is the only way that I will pass the test that God has given to me. So, me just reframing my mind in that way, any single difficult thing that is introduced into my life or approaches me in my life, however you want to view it. Let's take a quick break to speak about the sponsor for the podcast. I am now working with a company called Attilius Apparel, and if you want Christian fitness wear that looks like or this, click the link in the description. Now let's get back into the podcast. I am able to just look at it and say, God is testing me. What will I answer with? Will I answer with giving up, or will I answer with my persistence and pushing through and realizing that at the end of this difficult moment, I will be a better version of myself? For point three, separating yourself from your thoughts, understanding that you are not your inner critic. Learning mindfulness techniques to observe thoughts without attaching emotions to them. This is super important because if you're someone that allows a negative thought to enter their mind and you overthink about it all day, and maybe sometimes you start to believe that thought, you need to realize that you are not your thoughts. You have thousands upon thousands of thoughts every single day that maybe happen for a brief moment, or maybe there's some thoughts that last hours. But you are not those thoughts. They just entered your mind and you allowed them to spiral. The best thing we could focus on is learning to build control over our mind, not letting our mind control us. That is one of the first things I will teach my kids as they grow up, is having a strong mind and not allowing your mind to be your enemy. Your mind could be your best friend or it could be your worst enemy. It's all about reshaping your thoughts towards yourself and realizing that your thoughts aren't you, that you could be separate from your thoughts, that you can allow them to enter into your mind, but not let them spiral. This is the importance of meditation because when you meditate, at least for me in my experience, the first 20 minutes, my brain is constantly thinking about new things, things that never happened, things that might happen, whatever the case may be. But after 20 minutes of allowing those thoughts to enter to my mind and not letting them spiral, I end up having a clear mind after those 20 minutes. So it just goes to show that you will have tons of thoughts throughout the day. It is up to you if you are going to allow them to take over your mind for a long period of time. The next thing you could start doing right now is speaking to yourself like a friend. Would you say the things you tell yourself to someone you love? Practicing self compassion and treating yourself with the same kindness you offer others. This is a crucial point because a lot of the times we could be our own worst critic, right? That is what this podcast is about. And I dealt with that for a very long time. I was always the one that hated myself the most. And because of that, I never spoke to myself like a friend. If I said the same things I said to myself to someone I care about, they would no longer care about me because they would be like, wow, this person is rude. This person is not kind. They clearly don't like me, right? So if you're able to kind of have that perspective of, imagine if I actually said all these things to another person other than myself, how would that go, right? And if you're able to say to yourself, okay, yeah, actually, if I did say those things to someone else, they probably wouldn't like me as much. Maybe you need to start speaking to yourself in a better light. Because at the end of the day, you need to realize that you are someone who is constantly learning. You don't have all the answers. You are trying to develop yourself into a better version of you. So you need to give yourself some grace and hold yourself to a good standard, but a realistic standard. Because the journey you're on, you are not going to be your best self right away. It is small steps towards that best version of you. And you should be enjoying that process and not hating yourself for taking too long. And for the final point, daily practices to rewire your mindset. Start using journaling, affirmations, and conscious habit changes to create a more supportive, resilient inner dialogue that fuels confidence and growth. It is just tracking it with your journal, realizing, okay, maybe I was talking like this to myself last week, but today it's a different week and I've been a little bit better than last week. So tracking it is super important. Those conversations that you have to yourself and the thoughts that you have in your mind towards yourself, tracking that and seeing how it grows over time. And affirmations to, when you're going to do something difficult like a sales call, or you're going to a social event that maybe you're a little afraid of, just talking to yourself in a way that, I've done this before. It will be great. I got to stop thinking in a bad way. This is a new opportunity. I'm going to kill it, whatever it might be. You don't need to do it all day, but just talking to yourself in those small ways throughout the day will allow you to be a more confident version in yourself. That is all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope that you could see yourself and view yourself as not your worst critic anymore. Obviously, this change isn't going to happen just because you watch this video. You're going to have to put practices in. You're going to have to actually try to not be your own worst enemy. And then once you're able to do this, you will see that you'll become a more confident version of yourself. If you guys enjoyed this episode, remember to like, comment, subscribe, follow on Spotify, and let me know any topics you'd like me to speak about in the future. Take care, everybody, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Crush a coal to a diamond, eyes forever shining. Your beauty alone inspire a nigga to rhyming.